Hey, hi, it's me. I'm back, and I just went through something. I just went through a thing, and honestly, this is the crazy thing. I struggle with making videos, but I very often end up just blathering and talking to myself, and that's part of why I make these videos because I'd rather listen. If I'm gonna just be rambling and talking to myself, I might as well film it and put it somewhere. Might as well. It's only like my second or third time going on TikTok live. Doing any live thing. Every time I do something live, I'm terrified. And just got on there and started drawing. Someone popped up and started talking to me. They seemed kind of young. Maybe early middle school, maybe younger than that. I don't even know. And this is kind of like very often I've never been diagnosed autistic. And there's a part of me that even I have been diagnosed ADHD. Look, fix this little dude. He's a happy dude. He's a mischievous guy. And I really didn't do anything doing that, did I? I still struggle sometimes with really believing like I'm autistic and stuff. But then something like this happens, and I think to myself, like, I can't imagine I would have this amount of struggle um, if I wasn't autistic. So I mean, it's a very small thing that happened. So at one point, I'm drawing, and this person's talking to me, and they say, "Where do you, they said they subscribed to me? It's nice, followed me, and then they said, where did you get that print from?" I'm going, I don't know what that means. Why is this a little bit? There was like a line. I'm like, what's this line here for? Okay, see, ADHD. And it's weird. I even now I'm like, am I ADHD? Is it? Is it true? Anyways, this person says, "Where did you get this print from? The print from?" And I'm going, what are you talking about? And I said, I don't really know what you're saying. And the person came back and said, um, oh, they mistyped or whatever, and that what what they meant to say was, "Where did you get that pen from?" And I said, "Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Except I'm holding a pencil. I was drawing at that point with a pencil, but I had switched from earlier with a pen, and my brain just couldn't. Like when first of all, when the person said, "Where'd you get that print from?" All I could think is, well, maybe they clicked on my profile, saw the videos that I have up there, and there's a print or something that looks like a print. Is that what she's talking about? I think it was a girl. Is that what she was talking about? What is she talking about? I don't get it. What's happening? Like I was so flustered and frustrated, or not frustrated, flustered. I was just very like, worried. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was just confused. Confused. That's the word. That's a good word. And then she said pen, but now I've got a pencil. And so I'm like, well, this isn't a pen. This is a pencil. And it's just a mechanical pencil. And again, I'm kind of like, I'm so bad at live. But part of being bad at live for me is that like having to have a back and forth interaction with someone fills me with so much not fear, like, but I just like I'm uncomfortable. That's why for a while I was like, my idea about traveling, and I was going to travel and do teaching English online, and help people practice their English. But I didn't even, I tried to get hired somewhere, but I didn't even go for it because, and I never got hired. So, but I was glad that I didn't get hired because I was like, I have no idea. Obviously, I have the ability to speak English. But even all the therapists that I went to, I would try and explain to them, like, when I'm having a back and forth with someone, I do not do this correctly. My thing in here does not function. I cannot understand what, like, I have to put so much effort and like focus, and I don't understand, and I will miss this. So okay, so here's the thing. While I'm describing the pencil, and I put it down and I go, well, maybe you were talking about this pen, and I start to talk about the pen. This person go, like, after a while it goes, bruh. That's all they said, bruh. And I'm like, yeah, okay, oh, oh. Like at that point, all of the brain went, oh, I understand what you're saying now. Okay, like I was really confused. And I was really confused. And the other thing is, like, when they said pen, I'm thinking, well, maybe they mistyped again. Maybe they said pen, but they meant pencil. The frustrating thing about this, when I think about my past and how long it's taken me to even understand some of these things, is that, like, I would go to therapy and therapists, and I would just, I would, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I wouldn't talk about things like this because I recognized how small they were. They're tiny, tiny, tiny little problems or little moments or whatever. But then I can imagine, I imagine I did at times bring up certain things like this. And I'm certain that many therapists would just hear all of the me overthinking, or me um, just trying to figure things out, and then me saying, which is true, when all of this, when it all, like, when it came together in my head, I just felt so stupid. I felt so dumb. I felt, I just I felt like an imbecile. And the problem that I've had is, like, this isn't just like one thing. This isn't one time. It's like every single effing time that I have any interaction at all. And this was probably like some young person. But it's just an embarrassing thing, and it's not shameful, but it feels shameful. It feels bad. It feels bad that every interaction that I have is filled with a deep confusion, and I have to think so hard, and I have to think so long, and I have to, and even then I get it wrong, and then by the time it all, whatever the word it would be, as it percolates in my brain. I mean, this was probably the problem with therapy as well, is that, like, they would talk to me, and I have a large vocabulary, and I have the ability to introspect, and I have all these different things, all these different qualities, and they're like, well, you're really smart. And I'm like, okay, thank you, wonderful. But then I'm like, but why is everything so difficult? And why is basic things difficult? Why am I confused when people talk to me about basic things? I think with maybe even like therapists that are like neurotypical or at the very least autistic, um, I think that so much of their idea of what they're supposed to do, if they heard me give that explanation, if they heard me tell, say that story to them, they would be like, "Hey man, you're overthinking things and it's okay. Like this is anxiety. This is social anxiety. And like back then they'd be like, you're young and it's gonna work itself out and you're just overthinking and I really don't think that's not at all what it is. It's just a real confusion about what people are saying, what they're talking about. And I do think I do get things. I do get things confused and I do overthink things, but the reason that I do overthink things is because of how confused I've been throughout my life. And so every new interaction becomes like this intense thing that I'm like, I'm trying to get this right. I don't want to get it wrong again. And that in and of itself kind of like leads to me getting it wrong even more, or just being like, or being anxious. Like I'm not anxious for no reason if I do get anxious. But it's like, especially when you're dealing with um, older people or people your own age or whatever, they're on one wavelength and you're on another wavelength, and you never want them to know how off your wavelength is. You know, like to the point of being worried about ordering something at a cafe, a restaurant, or whatever. Like I don't want them to see. I don't want them to know that I'm struggling. I mean, I can drop the mask and whatever, but when I do drop the mask, for me, and I'm sure the ADHD is part of this, is that like I can get into a state of like, I guess my brain gets confused and I have so there's so many things, there's so many inputs coming in, and I'm unfocused, or I'm almost like my brain is trying to focus on everything. And I've had so many moments where I've focused on everything, which is impossible, and it makes me look like a dumb deer in the headlights kind of look. So yeah, whenever I would talk to a therapist about this, about my struggles, I think they would just always attempt to like, I think neurotypicals, holistics believe that what you need is like a pat on the back. Hey man, it's gonna be okay. You're okay. You're a good person. You're a normal and you're a good, and everything's gonna be fine. And you're just you're just overthinking it. But that really is not. It's not super helpful. I mean, it's not helpful at all. And it almost, again, sometimes I feel angry or I feel really sad. I'm still kind of mm, maybe I'm done kind of putting the pieces together in my past and seeing how things, went wrong. But I still do, yeah, I have this feeling of like, man, if only I had known had understood how much I was not getting, and I wish that all those bleeping therapists could have, for a second, like, asked why it's such a struggle. And I mean, I don't know. I guess I never fit the presentation of what they used to think of as Asperger's, and I never really fit the presentation even of autism. I know that a lot of people that are, smart enough, they're smart people, verbally capable, um, I mean, I never had that. I never had that confusion about my feelings, or I never had alexithymia. I never had that feeling of like, I don't know what I'm feeling. I've always been able to, I'm almost overly aware of what I'm feeling. And I used to think that I was very good at seeing other people's feelings and knowing what they were thinking and feeling and stuff like that. I think maybe I was wrong about that. I think maybe I was wrong. Uh, uh, from if I'm looking at someone and they're talking to someone else, I think I'm actually very, very good at understanding the dynamics that I'm watching. But the moment that it's a back and forth with me, like, I think I'm not good at all. How should I say that? I think that if in the moment I'm shit, really shit at it. I'm really bad in the moment. But or it just takes my brain a second to catch up with what's happening or what the person is feeling or thinking or wanting. Except that, of course, if you're a little bit slow in that ability to see, then it causes a lot of problems socially, because you're like trying to catch up, and they're talking to you, or you know they're showing you an emotion, but you're not sure until like 20 seconds later, but by then it's too late. Stuff like that's happened to me, and with me, a lot. And then it's not just not seeing it quickly. It's also being very, 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 very confused about how I'm supposed to respond, or what you want to be able, if someone's like sad around you or whatever. Again, like something like that, neurotypical would have, an holistic person would have a problem with that. That's a difficult thing for anyone. But because it's a difficult thing for anyone, it's an even more difficult thing for me, because I'm like running through the processes in my brain, trying to think like, okay, what do I do? How do I respond? What do I say? How can I show that I care about the person, but I don't know what to do, what to say? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Now I'm blathering, and I said what I needed to say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and do things. Do all things. Do all the things. And, yeah, it's a good thing that I'm glad that I quickly jumped in here and quickly talked about what I just experienced. Again, it's like, I feel bad. Like, it didn't need to be a bad thing. And it was a bad thing. It sucked. Because I don't want to be so stupid. I don't want to be so confused all the time when it comes to other people. That fucking sucks. That sucks, guys. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.